Okay, so I decided I'm going to be making my own MRE. And the first MRE I'll be starting off with is a Thanksgiving MRE. Okay, and for our first run, we're going to be having cubed sweet potato, some lean turkey, also cubed, peas and carrots, because you need vegetables and those are easy to freeze dry. This will probably take the longest. Green bean casserole. Might take 2 runs in the freeze dryer. We'll see. Look at that. That's a beaut. Alright. We'll just set these in like so. Oh yeah, that's a good sign. Get these out of here. That is just incredible. Up next, got some gravy. That's just straight out of the jar. It's super easy. Sweet potato casserole. Spiced apples. This is going to be great because I got some shortbread cookies that are homemade. That'll be a nice crust for that to make for a MRE apple pie, pretty much. And then life's not complete without some mini marshmallows. Things are going down. That's the apple pie filling. Look at this sweet potato casserole. The gravy. Look at that. That's really something. I gotta eat a piece of this. I mean, I can't even wait. That is awesome. Cornbread stuffing. Homemade. 100%. It is so good. I was just eating a bunch of it out of the tray. Nice. Alright. There we go. Cranberry sauce. Got mashed potatoes. Look at those mashed potatoes. Nice hiss. My hands are sanitized. There we go. Rubbing alcohol. Okay, let's try this out real quick. Oh, I think it's freeze. Yes, it did it this time. It's like definitely freeze dried. Oh. And here's the stuffing. Oh my gosh. That's really nice. Look at that. Let's get a piece. Cornbread stuffing. Freeze dries very well. Oh wow. Look at this stuff. Let's see. Yes, I think it works. I think there's a little bit of moisture left, but we'll see. This freeze dries. And then here are the mashed potatoes. I can't. Look at how nice it is. Breaking it up is almost like sinful. So look. We're gonna freeze dry some coffee. I'm not pulling it back out because I spilled a little on the floor. So anyway, let's do this up. There we go. Look at this. That is coffee. 100% pure coffee instant. Wow, look at that. The pumpkin pie filling is so good. That is gonna freeze dry super well, I think. I am proud to present my very first MRE. It's homemade and a Thanksgiving MRE. The box itself is a nice, shiny, water-resistant, closable cardboard box. This box weighs 2 pounds 10 ounces or 1,190 grams. This one over here is 1 pound 14.9 ounces or 875 grams. It's like 4.5 pounds, pretty much. Let's give it a look. Figure, why not go all out on this first MRE? Spare no calorie. Actually, speaking of calories, I have no idea of the calorie content of this ration. 0 calories. And some of the vacuum sealing, I need to work on it. I'm not that great at this yet. Alright, we're going to start off with this box here. Box A, I suppose you could say. Look at that. Peas and carrots. Got a nice crunch. Freeze dried. Everything is freeze dried. Except for like 1 or 2 components. Like this. These are unlabeled, but that, fried onions. Look at this. Nice vacuum seal maintained on this one. Sweet potatoes. And it'll be very difficult to read this stuff. The label I put on there is less than stellar. Oh yeah, look at this. Shortbread. Like just a bunch of shortbread cookies. Can't go wrong. There are multiple uses. For starters, gotta have some for your pumpkin pie. Look at that. And look at this. Coffee instant, freeze dried. With milk. And then cranberry sauce. Can you believe it? I actually managed to freeze dry cranberry sauce, at least to some degree. And a bunch of turkey. And look at that. Oh yeah, cornbread stuffing. This thing is pretty much like a 24-hour ration, but then I'm doing it more as one huge feast. Like, that's pretty much what Thanksgiving is, you know? Look at that. Green bean casserole. And check this out. For the serving spoon, British Operational Ration Pack Spork. Excellent choice for serving up some mashed potatoes. Can't go wrong with all-purpose Australian CR1M spoon. And then the Canadian IMP Spork. Up next to a US MRE spoon. Mashed potatoes. A whole bunch of them. They're actually pretty fluffy. Sweet potato casserole. Gotta have it for Thanksgiving. That's essential. And so is this. A pack of gravy. And then this, I just wrote on there, freeze-dried marshmallows. They vacuum sealed really nice. Like, beautifully. There were certain things that seemed to vacuum seal easier than others. And check this out. We use it as modern day currency. Oh, toilet paper. You get 4 standard modern US MRE toilet papers and then 2 from the 80s. So you get 6 toilet papers. There's no difference. It's what I grabbed out of my box. Happy Thanksgiving. Alright, let's get this all out onto a tray. Nice. I needed backup. Look, I got this tray over here. That's the most food I've ever gotten out onto some trays at one time. What I'm going to do is start off with some turkey. We're going to get this stuff all rehydrating. There are no tear notches. And also, notice, no gussets to any of these kind of thin Mylar pouches. Really not the best, but nice little hiss. Not a super strong vacuum seal on that one. There's my little silica packet oxygen absorber. Even though it was packaged like just, you know, days ago. So you got a little handle, that's nice. Oh yeah, it's gonna take a lot of water. Should have figured. There we go. There might be some approximation errors in the rehydration process of this ration, but for the most part, I think this thing, I'm gonna wing it quite nicely. And yeah, okay, moisture's coming up to the top. I think that's good. I think that's like right where it needs to be. I added like 12 or 14 ounces of water, so I'm just gonna set that right there. And then now, how about for some cornbread stuffing? Look at that. That is beautiful. You know, when it is freeze dried, it loses all its smell. But the flavor, it is freeze dried cornbread with butter, poultry seasoning, and onion, celery. Oh my gosh. This is incredible. I'm just gonna stand here and eat. Gosh, look at that. I'm telling you, it's freeze-dried cornbread. The crunch. This is like a crouton on steroids, but let's see, how well does it rehydrate? Get this cranberry sauce going, shall we? See how well this will rehydrate. Look at this stuff. That is incredible. It smells nice. It actually smells like cranberries. I put a couple oxygen absorbers in this one. I think it needed it. If anything, it could have freeze dried on another cycle. I gave it 2 cycles, as it were. This and the apple filling took multiple cycles. Look, oh yeah, I put a bunch of oxygen absorbers. And this was 2 days ago I packed it. I have a feeling that this thing would end up molding. But look at this, that's cranberry sauce. It's like cranberry sauce bread. Wow. It works to some degree. Here, let's mix it up. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Look at this. You can make cranberry jelly. It's tart, sweet and delicious. Made with fresh cranberries. I'm so excited, I'm like shaking. This is insane. Alright, I gotta like seal this up. And up next is some gravy. Look at that gravy. That's so cool. It works like a charm. Might be a little bit lumpy, but that's okay. We'll get by. And you can always add more water as needed. I might even leave some little dry gravy chunks in there because it'll be a burst of flavor. Okay, let's see. Green bean casserole. Look at that. No scent, but they taste like a delicious, like, on-the-go snack. The most delicious, light, savory crunch. And look at that. That rehydrates beautifully. That is so cool. Can't believe how well that worked out. Mashed potatoes. And check this out, right? They almost look like freeze-dried eggs. Look at that. These are so good. Garlic and sour cream in them. fun to eat dry. Like, this is just a fun snack you could have. Oh wow, they look like they're nice and fluffy. And they're almost as good as they were before. I think they lost a little bit of flavor. Like, you'd throw in a little extra sodium, you know, a little extra salt. Let all this stuff rehydrate. Going down the line, sweet potato casserole. I put marshmallows in there too. Look at that. Really went all out. I gotta try out a couple marshmallows right off the bat. Look at this. Isn't that amazing? Fresh sweet potatoes, nutmeg and cinnamon. And you can still taste everything in this beautiful fluffy crunch bar. I mean, you could just eat this freeze-dried, it'd be good. Just the way it is. Here. I'm gonna keep this. Look up there. That was like a sweet potato cookie. And the marshmallows, they freeze-dry really well. It's like Lucky Charms marshmallows, but bigger. Look at that. That's like sweet potato mush. Goodness. Oh man, that's so cool. Look at that. It rehydrates super well. I gotta have a bite right away. Look at this. That is so delicious. Sweet potato casserole, you need to have that for Thanksgiving. It's a Thanksgiving essential, you know? Look at this. Apple pie filling. Let's see here. Look at that. Kind of stuck together. It took 2 freeze-dry runs on this one. Plus an extra 2 hours on top of that. Then it finally freeze-dried it. Because it was flexible before. There was a lot of moisture. Apple cinnamon spice. It's crunchy. It has a candied chew. How about that pumpkin pie? Got a bunch of oxygen absorbers, way more than you probably need, but because oh yeah, look at that. It like reabsorbs moisture. It has like probably no shelf life. That one's more normal. I'm gonna rehydrate one of them and see what happens. Just a little bit of water. Set that back there for a few. Let's do up these sweet potatoes next. Listen to this. Thanks to this. Glad I got at least one good one. There we go. Crunchy sweet potatoes. Gosh, those are so good. Looks like fun food right here. Eat it on the go. Lightly sweet. And they rehydrate beautifully. Peas and carrots are just a sure thing. I wanted to mostly do that because it was like, again, just such a sure thing. I think I forgot the oxygen absorber. I sure did. Peas and carrots. What's the point? Listen to those. It's mostly the example that there's such a great item to food item for freeze drying. Making messes, oh yeah. But Yeah, they're a great option to freeze dry. I'm gonna do up the cornbread stuffing first. Look at that. I can't believe how well that turned out. That's like a miracle. Now how about that turkey? There's a little water at the bottom. Oh well, that didn't hurt anyone. That's awesome. Now we're talking turkey. Yeah, let's see here. Cranberry sauce. I can't believe how well this turned out too. Look at that. That is astounding. I mean, that is the hot water. Really, oh my gosh, it's so tart. It's like concentrated cranberry sauce. Okay, gravy. A little bit lumpy. That's okay though. Look at that. It is just jarred gravy. Nothing special. But it rehydrates pretty well. I gotta say, I think that it's a nice addition if you want to freeze dry a ration. You can do a Thanksgiving MRE and go out camping somewhere and do this. Or if you perfect its shelf stability, you could probably make this last for years. And then it's good for survival. Mashed potatoes. Let's check these out. Boy, that's dense. There's so much food here. It's enough for 2 people. Garlic mashed potatoes work real well to freeze dry. Look at that. Perfect. It's a little bit dry in the center. That's cool though. Ooh, this is the apple right here. I'm gonna drink off the juice. That makes like an apple cider. See that? It's like apple cider that I'm drinking right now. And look what's left is this. I'm gonna let it rehydrate a little bit longer. That is apple pie filling. The green bean casserole. Let's see what we got going on here. That looks really good. There you go. Marshmallows. Nice hiss. The marshmallows freeze dry so well. How about apples on this thing? On my old tray. Oh yeah. It is starting to look like Thanksgiving. Alright, sweet potato casserole. Look at this. Okay, let's do up the coffee. Freeze-dried granules. Real fine ones. Oops. Gotta fish that out of there. As milk. Let's see how well the milk stirs back in. I don't know if it does. It might look pretty gross because I put milk in there. If it was just the coffee, I think it would have been fine. But yeah, it was like fat separation. It tastes incredible though. Nice coffee. Do up the peas and carrots. That's a good bit of color. I'm glad I included that boring component. There we go. Sweet potato. So then, what's that? Gravy? No, that's that. That is pumpkin pie. The shortbread. Look at that. Double wrapped and in cellophane. That's the way to do it. I just think I broke up the cookies a little bit. That's pretty much pie crust. The turkey rehydrated perfectly. Switching spoons. Peas and carrots are bland. I didn't do anything with them, but they're just nice for color. What about this? A nice bite of cranberry and turkey. You would never know that was freeze-dried. I mean, the sauce rehydrates perfectly. There's nothing off about it. Same with the turkey. How am I going to eat all this? What about a sip of coffee? Even though the milk did like a weird fat separation, it looks like sewage water. It looks terrible. It tastes perfect. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's like a nice, strong, I just took drip coffee and mixed a little half and half and whole milk with it. Put it in the tray. Green bean casserole with onions. They're a little mushy, as they always are. Green bean casserole is notoriously mushy, and that's the beauty of having the little fried onion bits for crunch. Maintain great flavor, and the green beans are fresh, which is great, because if they were canned, I don't think they'd be that great right now, because green beans, when freeze-dried and rehydrated, they turn out even mushier. The crunch from the onions save it. Sweet potato casserole. The marshmallows, they pretty much just dissolve in it. So not sure if it's better to mix them in directly like that, or if you just add a couple. That's probably better. Butter, cinnamon, nutmeg. This freeze dries so well too. Oh wow, there's like a center bit that's like less rehydrated. Cannot believe no company sells this. A company could make that and have the marshmallows on the side. You mix them, it's a nice camping dessert. This is one of the greatest things I've ever eaten. I can't stop chowing down. It's better rehydrated. Let's go over to mashed potatoes before, grow wings and fly. I think it does kind of bring me down. After all that sweet goodness, back over to mashed potatoes. That's like the roller coaster of a Thanksgiving meal. You know, you go from one sweet thing like this, apple pie filling. Apple pie filling with shortbread. Ah, yes. Just as I hoped. It's like apple pie. Yeah, have a bite of that, then you go back over to some food. The cranberry sauce. It's unbelievable. That is the heaviest that tray's ever been. Gosh, what have I got myself into? I should have split this in half, portion size. I don't know, that wouldn't have been Thanksgiving though. This is so fun. I mean, like, it took me like 4 days to make this thing. I'm gonna film it, the cooking, next time. I thought about it after, maybe people would have wanted to see that. So far, so good with this. I'm getting full though. I mean, like, there's so much food. Oh yeah, sweet potato. Who cares about this after all the, like, sweet potato casserole or just sweet potato? Why did I even have this in here? I guess for a good measure, you know. And it's fluffy. I mean, they rehydrate real well. Maintains its flavor. I'm telling you, this opens doors. just knowing now I can make these. I have a commercial freeze dryer in the other room. Man, is that thing easy to use. That's a great coffee. Wow. Like, see that cranberry sauce? I didn't expect that. Everything. There's stuff here that just freeze dries so efficiently that I know I'll be able to take it camping. I can bring it over to some place. You could cook a meal and freeze dry it and take it over to a friend's that lives, multiple states away and rehydrate a nice home cooked meal that you made. I mean, it's insane. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. This is landmark for me. I already thought of so many different great ideas for, making MREs, making rations. I have limitless ideas, and I just kept thinking of more of them just when I was making this. This is just an introduction. First rations, a Thanksgiving ration, and it turned out, I think, very well. Green bean casserole. It's a bit mushy, I will say. But I may have added too much water. My cornbread stuffing. A buttery, onion, celery, savory stuffing that is nice and moist with like little dry bits with a flavor burst that you crunch into. The cranberry is a velvety, sweet, rich, tart, like almost fruit leather and sauce combo. It's very viscous and delicious. The turkey is dry, and just like any Thanksgiving turkey, benefits from having gravy and cranberry sauce. The sweet potato casserole. It's a buttery, sweet cinnamon, nutmeg. With a sweet crunch from the marshmallow that has a beautiful texture variation and just makes it quite the dessert. The peas and carrots are a little bit bland, but they rehydrate it well. The efficient rehydration and no lumpiness, no dry patches, garlic and sour cream and butter. These are really good mashed potatoes and the best freeze-dried mashed potatoes ever had, and I made them. Nice. There really is enough food here for 2 people for a nice size meal. And I had only enough coffee for 1 and just barely. I should have had like 4 times this much coffee, and it is so close to apple pie. That apple filling is that a piece of lemon seed? Yeah, because there's lemon juice in there. See, look at that. A little bit of lemon. Here's a lemon seed. The shortbread gives it a flavor and texture balance that really makes it resemble apple pie with a buttery, rich crust. Pumpkin pie filling, it seems like it'll freeze dry. It really seems like it does, but then it rehydrates very easily on its own. It would have to be vacuum sealed. It would need some kind of moisture stabilizer. It needs some kind of preservative. It really needs it, because the way it is, it would end up molding and oxidizing in no time. At the very least, oxidizing and going rancid, and potentially getting moldy as well. Still tastes great, but it's a failure. The sweet potato casserole, that is a hit. Man, this tray is so heavy with food. Yeah, you see, I just couldn't waste it. You know, it's just not happening. I'd love to be able to take this and put it in on an oven-safe plate and reheat it. I'll bet you it'll be even better reheated. Like, having this tomorrow is going to be so nice. I'm going to be glad. And you know how that is. That's totally how Thanksgiving food is. You always end up getting way too much for your meal, and you have this nice plate of food for later. And that packaging was not that great. It was pretty thin Mylar. I'm going to make way better rations than this. This was just a very preliminary effort, and it still turned out pretty well. That's perfect. Yeah, that looks pretty good, actually. And it's just all on one plate. Pumpkin pie really didn't turn out. Yeah, this is like the most freeze-dried one out of all of them. And still has a moist surface. Phenomenal. The flavor and texture of that, but it doesn't rehydrate well, like at all. I'm gonna have to work on this. Okay, now for leftovers. Foil and parchment paper. And I think this is gonna be like soft. Oh wow, that's cool. It turned into like a soft crust. And the pumpkin pie, that looks good. Wow, it smells amazing in here. I can smell the apple filling and the cinnamon. Whoa, the mashed potatoes, really? I feel like everything rehydrates like even more thoroughly once it's reheated. Freeze-dried food is amazing, I'm telling you. The mashed potatoes are even better today. Hot. Let's get this plate out onto a tray. Nice. Yeah, like, I think that's what I'm going to do for at least right now. Yeah. So let's see how the green bean casserole held up. Ooh. The green beans are less mushy and they have more body, but then of course the fried onion got mushy. Probably good with mashed potatoes. That's one way to do it. Cranberry sauce is really special. Orange zest and ginger. Man, the mashed potatoes. Let's see how the sweet potatoes are. This, in a lot of ways, was the most like amazing part. The sweet potato casserole is phenomenal. That rehydrates and turns right back into normal sweet potato casserole. There's like nothing different about it. The green bean casserole is a little mushy. Like it seems like there's something different about it. This is so weird having a plate on a tray, but it's totally Thanksgiving food. It was freeze-dried. I just can't stop thinking about it. It's like so cool. I love this machine. That freeze dryer, gosh, the apple filling, way better today. It has like more time. The more time it rehydrates, the better it gets. That took a while to rehydrate, it seemed, because it was almost like it was chewy and it had just an off texture before. Once it rehydrates slowly but surely, it's amazing. This crust softened up, and that buttery shortbread became like a soft quiche-like crust. And it's just, with the stuffing, onion and celery, and then with apple filling right next to it, you get a little cranberry, some stuffing, get a little gravy. Which the gravy even looks better. That's just jarred gravy, and nothing special. I mean, really, actually. This is when these come into play and become useful once and for all. Peas and carrots. Man. Alright. Crust with pumpkin pie. Here's a part you don't want to miss. It's unbelievable. Really good, chewy pumpkin pie. Like, that texture's so, like different, which makes it so much more fascinating. Apple, pumpkin, crust, oh, and a green pea in there too. Look at that. That is Thanksgiving. Isn't it odd how reheated Thanksgiving seconds is like better than like when you first have it? It's like this is better reheated, especially since it's freeze dried. It like rehydrated a second time, hydrated much more thoroughly being wrapped like that. Look at this. This part, like this piece of pumpkin pie, nutmeg, cinnamon, molasses, and heavy cream. I didn't think of this until just now. That's the way to do it. Just dunk it in your coffee. I couldn't possibly say the pumpkin was a failure after all. It's like a pumpkin's biscotti, pretty much. Somebody needs to produce that. I'll bet you people would buy this. Imagine if you had a Thanksgiving kit. And it's like, hey, freeze-dried Thanksgiving, you know, here's our bucket. Chewy piece of pumpkin pie. There's cranberry filling and turkey, stuffing, apple. Oh, it's the best bite of food I've ever had in my life. I had like no problem eating this. Like there's nothing off about anything. You know, there's like, not like, oh, well, that part I won't eat because it didn't rehydrate properly at all and it's really gross. It's like, no, even the green bean casserole, which is the weakest link really on rehydration, it's so good once it's mixed in with other stuff that it's like it doesn't matter. Once rehydrated and then reheated the next day, it dries it out a little, the moisture of it equalizes into other parts, and I'm amazed by the stuffing. It's like, why don't you ever see freeze-dried stuffing anywhere? What's the deal with that? I think these companies are purposely holding out. Maybe it's some kind of shelf stability issue. You know, like for a lot of this stuff, what I'd like to do is make a Thanksgiving MRE and then sock it away for a couple of years and see what holds up. You know, do that with really any ration. This is just a true prototype. That's what this is, a prototype ration. Got some marshmallows and shortbread cookies to finish up with. Learned something new there, that freeze-dried leftovers, like once rehydrated and then cools off and then reheated, if it's reheated in the oven and it's covered with parchment paper and foil on 250 for like 45 minutes or so, that just blows my mind how efficient the freeze-dry machine works. And I'm going to be developing rations, and they will have calorie counts and nutrition facts and, you know, nutritional breakdown, ingredients list, everything that, you know, a standard ration will have. Hopefully some gussets on some pouches and thicker Mylar packaging. I feel like this was an awesome start to something new. Well, anyway, this is Steve1989. I hope you liked the video. And I'll be coming back at you with something new. Or old. Alright, cool. See ya.